Welcome to the Lodge. From the riverbanks to the end zones, we're diving deep into everything that matters most to the colony. You're listening to State of the Beavers. I'm your host, Brian, and whether you're a diehard alum, a nature enthusiast, or just here for the ecosystem, we've got you covered. Today on the show, we're breaking down the latest headlines, checking the pulse of the community, and asking the big questions that define our state today. Grab your gear, a beer, and settle in. It's time to gnaw through the noise. This is the State of the Beavers, starting right now. This segment is powered by our friends over at Castor and Cask Brewing Company. When the day's work is done and the dam is secure, there's only one way to wind down. Located in the heart of the valley, Castor and Cask is craft brewing with a wild side. From their award-winning Log Jam IPA to the smooth, dark Muddy Bank Stout, every pint is brewed with local hops and mountain-fed water. It's crisp, it's refreshing, and it's earned its place at the top of the food chain. Whether you're celebrating a big win or just cooling off after a long haul, head down to the tap room and tell them the lodge sent you. Castor and Cask Brewing Company, respect the river, drink the beer.
Man, week 5 was pure chaos, and it has completely redrawn the college football map. So heading into week 6, the pressure is on, the rivalries are getting hot, and believe me, the stakes could not be higher. Let's get right into it. All right, so here's our game plan for today. We're going to kick things off with the fallout from last week. Then we'll zero in on the Heisman race. After that, it's all about the can't-miss matchups, and we'll even shine a light on a potential upset. Then we'll wrap it all up with what this weekend really means for the rest of the season. Okay, first up, we absolutely have to talk about last week. The results sent some major shockwaves through the polls and have really set the stage for a dramatic week 6. And to put it mildly is, well, an understatement. Week 5 was just pure, unadulterated chaos. We had huge statement wins. We had stunning upsets. And because of all that, the top 25 has a completely new look and feel heading into this weekend. You know, the big story here is just how crowded it is at the top with all these undefeated teams. Georgia, they managed to hold on to that number 1 spot after a total nail-biter against Alabama, winning 28-26. That loss knocked Bama all the way down to number 10. So now you've got 8 of the top 10 teams are still perfect. It's a real logjam up there. And hey, you know how it goes. For some teams to climb, others have to fall. Really tough losses for Louisville, Kansas State, Ole Miss, and Colorado sent them tumbling right out of the rankings, which, of course, opens the door for some new blood to make their mark. So that's the team picture, right? But some of the biggest moves happen with the individual players. The race for the Heisman Trophy took a pretty dramatic turn last weekend. Are you kidding me with this performance from Fernando Mendoza? He just went off against Iowa, over 400 yards and a staggering 6 touchdowns. That's how you leap into the top spot. On the flip side, Texas had a bye week, which meant Arch Manning couldn't keep his momentum going, and he slipped just a little bit in the race because of it. And yeah, a monster game like that, it's gonna completely flip the script in Vegas. Fernando Mendoza is now the clear favorite, with his odds sitting at plus 220 to take home the most coveted award in college football. You know, this really shows you the 2 different ways you can get to New York right now. You've got Mendoza putting up these insane, flashy numbers that you just can't ignore. And then you have Darian Mensah at Duke, who's just quietly and steadily leading his team with incredible efficiency. Honestly, it's pretty rare for a player from a school like Indiana to be the frontrunner, which makes Mendoza's story that much cooler. 2 totally different paths to the Heisman. Okay, so let's talk about where all these storylines are going to play out. Week 6 is absolutely loaded with high-stakes games that are going to have a huge impact on both the playoff picture and that Heisman race we were just talking about. The main event, without a doubt, is this one. You've got undefeated number 2 ranked Texas, led by their Heisman hopeful Arch Manning, and they are traveling to the Swamp to take on the number 14 Florida Gators. This is a massive road test for a team that has their eyes on a national title. But wait a second, here's where it gets really interesting. Even though Texas is ranked 12 spots higher, the folks in Vegas actually have the home team, Florida, as a 3.5-point favorite. They are absolutely betting on that hostile environment playing a huge role in this one. And the action does not stop there, not even close. We've got two more top 5 teams hitting the road for some really dangerous conference games. Number 4 Miami is actually a 4.5-point underdog at Florida State, while number 5 Clemson and number 3 Penn State are favored, but they're in some tough road matchups themselves. No easy weekends for the top dogs this week. So while those big ranked matchups are grabbing all the headlines, sometimes the games that really define a season happen just outside the top 25. So let's zoom in on a potential giant killer that's looking to make a huge national statement. This game has trap game written all over it. You know, that's where a favorite like Oregon State might be peeking ahead on their schedule and they get caught totally off guard by a dangerous underdog. A confident, undefeated Liberty team going to face a rested Oregon State squad, that is the perfect recipe for an upset. And if you think Liberty is some kind of fluke, you need to think again. Their offense is legit. They're averaging almost 400 yards of offense every single game, and they do it with a balanced attack that can beat you through the air or on the ground. Their whole attack is really a three-headed monster. You've got the quarterback, Ethan Vasco, who's not only a dual threat, but is also incredibly careful with the football. Then there's the workhorse running back Julian Gray, who just finds the end zone. And finally, you have the big play receiver Elijah Canyon, who can stretch the field on anybody. That is a tough trio for any defense to handle. But here's the thing. They're not just some high-flying offense with no D. No, the Flames have a top 30 defense in the entire country, giving up just over 300 yards per game. And that unit is led by their disruptive defensive end, CJ Bazile Jr., a guy who pretty much lives in the other team's backfield. So, after all that, what does this weekend really mean? Let's boil it all down to the key things you absolutely need to be watching for. Really, it all comes down to this. Can the undefeated survive on the road? Will Fernando Mendoza get that signature Heisman moment to lock himself in as the guy to beat? Is Liberty going to pull off a massive season-defining upset? And really, which of these teams is going to survive a brutal weekend of conference games to stay in that playoff hunt? You know, by the time the lights go out on Saturday night, this whole national picture could look completely different all over again. The only real question is, which one of these games is going to be the one that rewrites the story of the season? Thanks for watching.
This podcast is presented by Pine Valley Auto Group. From rugged trucks to everyday commuters, find your drive at Pine Valley.
All right, in a college football weekend that is absolutely packed with big games, there's one that really stands out. Not because of its ranking, but because it's a total rivalry of ideas. We're talking about a fascinating clash between a brand new coaching philosophy and a just brutally effective defensive force. So let's break it down. The architect versus the wall. You know, in a week like this, filled with powerhouse matchups and all sorts of top 25 drama, it's so easy to get lost in the headlines. But what if the most compelling story isn't about the biggest names, but about the biggest ideas? That's exactly what we're digging into today.
So first things first, let's set the stage nationally. We're in week 6 of the season, and this is the point where the championship picture is supposed to be getting clearer. But honestly, right now, it just feels like pure chaos out there.
When you look at the top of the polls, yeah, no huge surprises there. You've got the usual suspects, Georgia, Texas, Penn State, all holding strong. And the Heisman race, it's already heating up, with Indiana's Fernando Mendoza leading the pack. So naturally, the headlines are all about these giants, and it's creating this really high-stakes environment all across the country.
But if you look just past those marquee matchups, there's a game happening down in Lynchburg, Virginia that represents something more. It's not just another game on the schedule, it's a really fascinating strategic collision. So let's get into it.
So on one side of this collision, you've got Oregon State, and they're being led by a new head coach who has a very specific, and I mean very modern blueprint for how to win.
Meet Caleb Ward. He's 36 years old, and this is his first head coaching gig. Now, he wasn't brought in to, tear everything down and start from scratch. The Beavers program wasn't falling apart. It was just stuck. They were getting outcoached, losing these tight games, and player development had totally flatlined. Ward was hired to fix the thinking, not just the roster.
And this quote right here, this just says it all. It brilliantly illustrates his whole philosophy. See, Ward gets it. He knows Oregon State isn't going to win the recruiting wars against the giants of the sport. So his entire approach is built on a totally different idea.
that great coaching, great strategy, and great development can level the playing field when the whistle blows on Saturday.
So his mandate, his mission, it was crystal clear. Number 1, win with less talent on paper. Number 2, install a modern, explosive offense that's designed to create mismatches. And number 3, develop your players faster than your rivals can recruit 5 stars. This is the blueprint of the architect.
Okay, so now let's meet the opposition, because that fancy blueprint is about to run smack into a solid brick wall. Meet the Liberty Flames, a team that is built on a powerful and frankly proven identity.
Let's just start with one single number, 30. That's Liberty's national defensive ranking. Statistically, that means they are one of the toughest teams to score on in the entire country, period.
And don't make the mistake of thinking they're just a one-dimensional team. While their defense is absolutely elite, giving up just over 311 yards per game, their offense is more than capable, putting up almost 400 yards themselves. They are balanced, they are efficient, and that makes them really dangerous.
I mean, this wall, it has names and faces. At all 3 levels of their defense, they have guys who are just difference makers. In the secondary, you've got safety Brylan Green, who is an absolute ball hawk. At linebacker, Joseph Carter leads the team in tackles. And coming off the edge, C.J. Bazile Jr. is a nightmare for quarterbacks. He's already got 4 sacks this season.
Okay, so this is what it all boils down to, right? This is the central conflict. It's a classic battle of wits, a strategic chess match between 2 completely different ways of building a winning football program. On one side, you have Oregon State's plan, innovation, player development, and these modern offensive concepts that are all designed to out-scheme you. On the other side, you've got Liberty's established identity, a top-tier physical defense that's paired with a just ruthlessly efficient offense. You could call it brains versus brawn, but really that's oversimplifying it. It's one well-designed system going right up against another.
Of course, philosophies and blueprints, they're great on a whiteboard, but games are won and lost by the players out there executing the plan. So let's take a look at the key matchups that are really going to decide this thing.
So for the architect, Coach Ward, this is it. This is the big test. His modern offense has to figure out how to solve a defense that just doesn't give up easy points. And they're going to have to keep pace with Liberty's incredibly efficient quarterback, Ethan Vasco, who's thrown 6 touchdowns this season, and get this, with 0 interceptions. The guy just doesn't make mistakes.
And it's not just the quarterback you have to worry about. Liberty can absolutely grind you down with their running back, Julian Gray, who is basically a touchdown machine. And then on the other side of the ball, you've got enforcers like Brylan Green just waiting to make a play. Oregon State has to account for impact players on both offense and defense.
So you might be asking yourself, why does this non-conference game in early October matter so much? Well, because for both of these programs, this game is a critical benchmark. It's a turning point.
This is absolutely a proving ground. For Oregon State, it's a test to see if the architect's blueprint can actually work against a top-tier opponent on the road. For Liberty, it's a chance to prove that their physical, defensive identity can shut down a modern, innovative scheme. This game is going to tell us a whole lot about who both of these teams really are.
And that really leaves us with the ultimate question, doesn't it? When innovation meets brute force, which one gives? We are about to find out if a brilliant plan is enough to tear down a really well-built wall. Thanks for tuning in.
Welcome to Arthur L. Williams Stadium in Lynchburg, home to the Liberty Flames, and fans have been eagerly anticipating this clash and filling up this stadium quickly. We've got a sensational matchup for you. Fans have been filing in and getting ready for this game. As we'll see, the winners of 4 straight, the Oregon State Beavers, taking on a team from Conference USA, the Liberty Flames. For EA Sports College Football, I'm Reese Davis, joined here in the booth by a couple of legends, and yes, we do use that term loosely. David Pollack from the University of Georgia and former Gator Jesse Palmer. Guys, let's get down to the field. The Flames will kick it away to start. He'll start the return inside his 5. And he did a good job bobbing and weaving and finding a little bit of running room on that return. So Oregon State's offense will come out first. As we take a quick look at the impact players for today's game, what players did you guys look to for motivation and make an impact during your playing days, Jesse?
Well, it was the guys we relied on each and every week. We came into the season expecting these types of guys to be our biggest weapons, and every week those were the guys that had to deliver for us in order to have success.
And it's just fun to have those guys that are consistent. Like, they lead by example, then they start to learn their voice and lead the team. But every week, guys that you can count on. They punch the clock, and they're hard workers.
Dumps it to the back. Makes the grab. It's Hankerson. That's the kind of play that can really get you going as they have a first down at the 43.
Nice job by the running back catching the football and understanding where the first down marker was. I got to go get that first down. Did a nice job of it.
Right there to stop him, and that'll be a loss of 3.
So many offenses do this, right? They run the jet sweep. This defense was more than ready. They see it all the time. They got the penetration. That play had no chance to be successful.
To throw, it's Murphy. Picked off, and the opening drive is stopped with an interception. Just a small return, but a big play as they have it now at the 45. Split backs here. On the option. Able to scrounge 3 yards out of that one somehow. It's 2nd and 7.
And playing the option, man, consistently playing responsibility football. Nice job by the defense being where they're supposed to be. This option will just keep giving it to you over and over and over again.
Breaks into the open. He stops him at the 31, but not before. He picks up 10 yards on the play.
Well, he was able to gash him on that play. You just give this guy 1 inch, one little crease. He puts his foot in the ground, and he gets north and fast.
And a decent gain there before the defense makes the stop.
Yeah, and how about the QB? Calls his own number and all these options, obviously multiple plays. He decides to stick with it, get some positive yards, and now what's next off of that? What's my next read off of that? How am I going to mix things up and keep this defense off balance?
Out of the gun, the inside handoff, looking for a crease. Got it into the red zone, dragged down at the 18-yard line. And the Flames look to keep this drive humming. They're going to go right back to him on first down. He stopped at the 14-yard line, and they'll stay on the attack from there. Operating in the red zone here on 2nd down. Rides the back and leaves it on the option. And this one will be stopped for no gain.
I think one of the keys to this defense's success all season has been how good they've been stopping the run. They're a top 10 unit when it comes to rushing defense, and it's helped them out this year down in the red zone.
Give to the running back. And the defense knew exactly where that first down line was, and they stopped him short. And on 4th down, they'll try to put 3 on the board. It's good. He hit that one right down the middle. And the first points of the day come on that field goal.
This is a team that really prides themselves on starting fast. We've seen that.
Oregon State takes over, ready to send the offense onto the field. They're going to need to get something started, finding themselves in a 3-0 hole. Going to run it. It's Hankerson. Slithers into space. Nice pickup on the ground there, and they'll move the sticks with the first down.
You know, as a defense, you can have the right call and the right guy in the right spot, but that guy's just too good. And how about the running back on that play? Just making it happen, breaking off the huge gain. It's tough to get these guys on the ground.
Makes the grab. It's Walker.
And I love when my quarterback sees zone and knows exactly where to go with the football. Sees the wide receiver running the drag route, knows when to throw it, pulls the trigger for the easy completion.
The RPO, fire complete to the left. He knew exactly where he wanted to go with that one, and they've got enough for the first down.
Nice completion here to this wide receiver, and you're going to see this receiver line up in different spots all over the field all game long. Defense has got to keep their eye on where this guy is because they know he's a big part of this offense's success.
And his throw is incomplete.
Yeah, I don't know if the quarterback got confused on first down. He might have thought the defense was going to be in man coverage that time, but they were in zone. They fooled him and just didn't seem like he had his eyes in the right place, was forcing that ball to his intended target. The window way too small. The guy was not open, so that didn't have that chance to be complete.
And the pass is incomplete thanks to a big hit.
The big tight end tries to make a catch, and you can tell extends for the ball, but great job by the defender getting in there, making the hit, dislodging the football out at the same time as he's going to catch it, and the big tight end couldn't hold on to it.
Pressure coming. Strong pass rush gets to the quarterback, and they get him at the 46. And the Beavers will try to pin them back with the punt. First time we've seen their punt team this afternoon. Well, what that punt lacked in height, it made up for by being short. Everybody stays field with this one. On his way back from the 20. And he's going to get it up to about the 29-yard line before he's brought down. Oregon State has it back, and here comes the Beaver offense. They really sputtered out of the gate, turned it over, punted the last time they had it. We'll see if the third possession is the charm. They want to run it left here. Good pickup on the ground, and they'll mark him down at the 39.
Man, that would be the definition of first down success. Putting yourself in a good position. It's second and inches. I can do whatever I want next. I can take a shot down the field. I can run the football and get a new set of downs. Like, nice first down execution.
And he'll have enough for the first down at the 42.
All right, nothing flashy there. He just did what it took to get the first down.
It's 1st and 10 for this offense from the 42. Motion from the wide receiver. Back to throw, it's Murphy. Under fire. Got a man, it's Clemens. He's brought down quickly. Minimal gain there, still a bit short of the first down. The Beavers in a good spot here with 2nd and short. Gets the back moving. Quick pass on the jet motion. And he never had a chance. Just stopped cold as soon as he got it.
Well, I love the aggressive nature of the defense on that play. Everybody playing with eye discipline. They saw the pre-snap motion. They knew who had the football. And you saw guys play with excellent instinct, running downhill and making a tackle.
That's reeled in. It's Walker. Oh, what a big play for this offense as they get it to the 33-yard line.
When you're a playmaker like this guy is, your coaches are going to dial up plays intended for you, especially on 3rd down. That's what you saw in that last play. There was no question where the quarterback was going with that football. All week long, they decided on the biggest downs of this game, we're going to target our best player, and we're going to make sure that he gets looks. It doesn't matter what the coverage is, and you saw it right there on that.
Clouds ahead for a pickup of 1 to the 32.
And you want to run the football, right? That's okay. You'll take some of these. But if they start to add up down the road, obviously, you might want to think about airing it out a little bit.
Back to pass. Got it in the middle. It's Walker. And the defense had that one well covered. Just a short gain there. The Beavers headed quickly to the line. Third and long, and he'll try to throw for it. Going to try to pop one on the screen. And boy, is he close to that first down, maybe just a couple of inches short. They just need a few more inches here on 4th down, and they'll try to get it with the offense. And the Beavers back to the line on 1st down. Let's see if they keep leaning on this running game. He wants to change this route. Dropping back, it's Murphy. Keeps looking downfield. Blasted as he lets it go. And he will take it in. Touchdown, Beavers! That is what we call in the industry a defensive breakdown. That guy was loose for the big play.
Busted coverage, really, really bad execution. Somebody slips, somebody falls. Nothing about that defensively is something you're looking for, but the offense will take it and get the easy touchdown.
Getting set for the point after. And the extra point is good, and it's a 4-point lead.
For defense.
Motion from the wideout. He'll take it himself. That just never had a chance as they controlled the middle of the field and stopped him in the backfield on 3rd down. And the Flames will punt it away on 4th down. This will be the 2nd time they've had to kick it away. Coverage team able to put a stop to that return at the 42-yard line. Let's see if they can get something going here late in the half. Looking for space. It's Hankerson. Not a whole lot of room there. 3 yards maybe. 2nd and 7. Win with the running game on 1st down, now back at it. Looking to throw, it's Murphy. Rush is on him. Gonna try to get it himself. Good pick up there. They'll move the chains, and they're set up at the 41. They'll take this lead to the 2-minute timeout and see if they can tack on a little more before the break. It's 1st and 10. They've moved it to the 41. Quarterback making checks. Off the play fake on 1st down to throw. He tries to take the top off. And he's got it inside the 15-yard line.
Man, if I'm a defense, I got to find a way to get some more pressure on the quarterback or disrupt their timing and their rhythm. I can't give them these big chunk plays through the air. I got to be maybe a little bit more aggressive or do something a little bit different.
The Beavers getting set on 1st and 10. Looking to throw on 1st down. I don't think that's the way they drew it up. Incomplete. 2nd down coming up on this red zone opportunity. Wants to go up top. Here's the pressure. And he waltzes in for the score. Touchdown, Oregon State. Just blinding speed. Speed that almost paralyzes defenders.
When you got a quarterback with that much speed, you got to find tricky ways to put more speed on the field, spy the quarterback with somebody that's really, really fast. And even when you do, a lot of times he still makes plays because he's that dang fast and that explosive.
Lining up to add another. And the extra point is good, and they have an 11. That's going to wrap up the 1st half here, and now we join Kevin with the halftime update.
Thanks, guys. A memorable 1st half of football so far today in Lynchburg. And a lot of coaches will say limiting the big plays and maybe hitting on a few yourself is key. But I'm more of a move the chains guy. Give me efficiency every day of the week and twice on Saturday. The offensive unit that subscribes to the less is more philosophy might be the one that leaves here today with a big fat W. And with that, let's send it back to the fellas at the Bill. Arthur.
This podcast is presented by Pine Valley Auto Group. From rugged trucks to everyday commuters, find your drive at Pine Valley.
This is the brief on Oregon State's Week 6 football 1st half against Liberty. So we're diving into the halftime stats from Oregon State's matchup against Liberty, and what's really fascinating here is what they tell us. It looks like head coach Ward isn't just trying to win. He's methodically installing his complex offense piece by piece in a live game. All right, let's break down the 3 big takeaways from this half. First, Oregon State's defense was just a wall, an absolute brick wall. They completely smothered Liberty, holding them to just 3 points, that was a 29-yard field goal, and a measly 64 total yards. I mean, think about that. Liberty only got 3 first downs in the entire half. Second, because the defense was so dominant, that gave Coach Ward the freedom, to really work on installing his deep passing game. You can see it in the stats. Quarterback Malik Murphy was super efficient, completing 10 of 14 passes for 120 yards. This half was all about making him go through those tough reads. And finally, Murphy showed some serious mental toughness.
He threw an interception on only his second pass of the game, which could rattle anybody, but he just shook it off and immediately led 2 huge scoring drives. He had a 22-yard touchdown pass to Trent Walker and then ran one in himself.
This segment is powered by our friends over at Castor and Cask Brewing Company. When the day's work is done and the dam is secure, there's only one way to wind down. Located in the heart of the valley, Castor and Cask is craft brewing with a wild side. From their award-winning Log Jam IPA to the smooth, dark Muddy Bank Stout, every pint is brewed with local hops and mountain-fed water. It's crisp, it's refreshing, and it's earned its place at the top of the food chain. Whether you're celebrating a big win or just cooling off after a long haul, head down to the tap room and tell them the lodge sent you. Castor and Cask Brewing Company, respect the river, drink the beer.
Beavers will kick it away to start the second half. And he'll just take a knee, and this drive will start at the 25. Liberty takes over, and the Flames offense ready to go to work. Trailing by a couple of scores, they'd like to generate some confidence here early in the third quarter.
Down 2 possessions, the coaching staff met in at halftime, and they've probably scripted this opening drive. Just like they do at the start of the game, they've now got an idea of what plays they feel most confident in, what plays their quarterback is seeing the best to go out here and execute a scoring drive.
Well, and it's nice to get the ball first. Like, I got the first opportunity to close the gap a little bit, apply some great game pressure to these guys. So I think getting the ball first, driving down, scoring right here would be huge.
Well, I love the variety in the run game you're seeing from this offense. It's not just going to be conventional handoffs, won't just be the quarterback, but he's making good decisions. Pitching at that time, that's the right read, and it's not a huge explosive home run type play, but it is enough to help them pick up the first down.
And just wedges it ahead a bit before he's brought down.
That's a really good job by the defense, wrapping them up, getting them on the ground, take away that run game, make them one-dimensional, put them in passing situations. Really good job by the defense.
Gives it on the option. Got enough for the first. All down, but he has enough to move the chains.
It was so important this offense was able to find a way to get in the rhythm, and the running game is now helping that. 2 straight punts on their previous 2 drives. This drive, though, they're having a little bit more success.
Oh, he's got some space. Really good job by everybody there. Well blocked, good run, and a first down.
Well, you wonder if one of the adjustments they made at halftime, trailing in this game, was to try and get the ground game established, David, and they're off to a good start here.
Dang right. Stay patient. You don't have to worry about it. You don't have to press. Just try to get scoring drives together. Don't abandon the run.
Just making a play, getting it to the 23-yard line. It'll be first down.
Well, it looks to me like the offense made some adjustments at halftime. Only 3 points in the first half. But here we go in the first drive of this third quarter. And this quarterback looks locked in. Really nice throw there to pick up the first down.
Runs through the tackle. Really good running. Gets it into the red zone, and they'll have it at the 16. The Flames with a second and short to keep this drive moving. DB's right up on the receivers. He'll ride his man on the option. And maybe a wise move not to even try the pitch as he's knocked down in the backfield.
Man, I love that play by this corner. You know why? When you run the option and that thing gets spread out, your DBs have to commit to tackling. And how about the cornerback coming up, sticking his face in the fan, and making a play? You love to see DBs tackle like that.
8th play of the drive, and to keep this one going, they'll need to convert a 3rd and 5. They'll go to the ground. Plows through the defense. Man, the defense had that one completely bottled up, and he eventually just had to live to fight another play.
Yeah, I love the discipline on defense, too. Everybody where they're supposed to be. Everybody staying in the gap, so they just kept funneling the ball to the outside. Inevitably, that guy had nowhere to go.
Let's go to the studio now and check in with Kevin Connors. Kevin, what do you got?
The Big 12 has become must-see TV. Circle back if anything big happens in this Big 12 Clash of the Titans, guys.
And how about that one? Kevin will be keeping an eye on everything going on elsewhere. Unloads to the wideout. Soft spot in the middle. They finally get him on the ground, but he's got an explosive play for the first down. He had the perfect play to open the drive, and now they'll snap it again from the 38. Touch pass on the jet sweep. He is going nowhere. Stop at the line of scrimmage.
The first thing you have to do to make these plays successful offensively is I have to block the edge. I got to get my speedster in space. They didn't do a good job of getting that guy out there in space where he could really use his jets. Nice job by the defense understanding it, seeing it, rallying to it, and tackling that guy for loss.
Pretty good effort on that one to work his way up to the 42.
I like this guy as a running back because he can run between the tackles and he can also go outside. He can really do it all.
Motion from the back. To the air, it's Murphy. He finds a soft spot in the middle. He goes to the ground, but not before a big pickup and a first down.
Just beautiful, and that's a great feeling as a quarterback when you make that throw. It keeps your offense on the field, keeps the offense in rhythm. Obviously not as good as throwing a touchdown pass, but I'll tell you this, way better than having to trot off over to the bench and wait for your turn to get another shot.
And the Beavers can play this second down a lot of ways with just a few yards to go. Pulls it and fires to the left. He almost picked up the first down on that one, but he'll be just a little bit short.
This is no surprise to defenses anymore. Everybody throws wide receiver screens, and you can tell they were ready for it. They saw the quick game, they pounced on it, got the wide receiver on the ground. It's not the first time they've seen that route.
Bought a little time, lets it go. Firing to the right, complete. He'll come through on third down as he's got enough, and they'll mark it at the 23.
And that's why they got to keep running the football, man, because play action is going to be a big part of this game plan. You've got to get this tight end over the middle of the field vertically and give him an opportunity because you just saw how dangerous he is.
So the final period starts with a second down play. From the gun, they'll try to impose their will. What a good job to be able to pick up that kind of yardage when you're trying to finish off the game.
Yeah, and if this offense can keep that rolling, if they can keep the physical ground game and continue to add these plays up as they go along, long drives, eat the clock with the lead, this coach will be ecstatic.
Scanning the field, it's Murphy. Dances away from the pressure, going to his left. And he got smacked just as he released the pass. It's incomplete.
This pass rush is real, man. They force the quarterback, they flush him out to the left, and he's trying to scramble around, find an open guy. They still are able to get a hit on him, and that forces the incompletion.
Looking to get it in. Crisp execution in the passing game, and they've got it down to the 3. They keep pushing forward, down to the 3, but now it's third and goal. Powers forward. Touchdown, Beavers! Excellent pass by the back on the option. They build this fourth quarter lead, and they are just minutes away from going 5-0.
And man, a lot of times late in games, you see offenses, they get very conservative, very predictable, and then they leave it in the hands of their defense. I like this execution, man. The offense continues to do what they do, and they take the 2-score lead in the fourth quarter, everything going in their direction.
And he added the extra point. Kickoff unit on the field, and this defense will be called on to protect this lead. He'll bring it back from inside his 5. Nice job by the kickoff team. Everybody stayed in their lanes, and they'll stop him at the 16. Liberty takes over the Flames, sending the offense back onto the field. They're going to have to be more aggressive in this drive. You can't expect to win this one, David, kicking field goals.
No, especially when you're trailing. You got to have a little more urgency and maybe a little more aggressiveness, Jesse. And field goals are not going to get it done down the stretch.
Yeah, you're going to have to take some shots, no doubt. Bottom line, when plays present themselves, you've just simply got to make them.
And the Flames have a lot of options on 2nd and inches. Grabbed in the middle, it's Smith. Out to the 36-yard line after gaining 10 on that one.
This is a fun spot to be in defensively. Like, It's late in the football game. You know they're passing the football because you're up a couple of scores. You pin your ears back. You try to get to the quarterback. Play smart. Make sure you rally to the football tackle and don't give up the big plays.
Didn't get much on first down. It's 2nd and 9. Off the bootleg and rolling out. Can't make the connection, and the defense putting on the heat and forcing the incompletion.
And there's an example of what happens when the quarterback doesn't have a chance to set his feet. The pressure just forced him to have to work off schedule a little bit. And I think because of that, wasn't able to be as accurate as he wanted to be.
On target to the left. Just plowing ahead. Bust through behind his pad. The tag. Touchdown Flames. And once he found open space, the band might as well start playing.
One of the reasons this offense is so exciting to watch, they've got guys that are dangerous after the catch. And if this quarterback gets through his progression, David, hits you in stride, these guys will take it to the house.
Man, it's your job to do the rest, right? You hit me in stride where I don't have to stop running. I don't have to break down. It makes it so easy. The connection between quarterback, wide receiver, you can tell this is a good one, and that's why they got 6 on that play.
And with the lead sitting at 9, they'll try to make it a one-possession game. And it's up and good as they draw just a touch closer. A very efficient 5-play scoring drive. Kickoff unit is out there again, and this crowd is feeling themselves after that last drive. On the run from inside his own 5. Not a lot of space to be found. Good hustle by the coverage team, and they stop him at the 21. Oregon State takes over, ready to send the offense onto the field. And they've got a little bit of a cushion here, David. If they can add to it on this drive, it would be nice. It's a seam wide open. Knocked out of bounds at the 46 after the good pickup on that one. He now has 91 yards on the ground, and that's just another routine day for this guy who's been among the nation's leaders in rushing all season long. The Beavers, after exploding for that huge run, back to work. They're going to ride this running back. This junior making his presence felt and making the stop after a short gain.
At this point of the game, the offense has the lead. The offensive coordinator knows they want to keep running the football. So he's going back, he's looking at his playlist, and he's saying, which runs work the best for me in this game? What can I lean on right here to make sure we win this one?
Can't get him to the ground. And they'll stop him after a minimal pickup.
That's a fantastic play by the linebacker. He has such tremendous instincts. As soon as he sees run, he's coming downhill. He's got great speed. He gets you on.
Turning it on. Good, solid pickup there. Now they can start to smell it with a first down at the 31. Boy, the defense really needed to get off the field there, and they just couldn't do it, and it's a fresh set of downs.
Man, that hurts. When you're trailing late in the ball game, you need those stops, and you get them to third down. You get them to those critical points and get the first down. You don't have many left. You better get aggressive.
He's there to make the stop, but not before. He sets up this offense first and goal from the 7. And this defense has to step forward. Not only do they have to get a stop, they've got to do it quickly to keep that time from running down. They'll knock him down for a loss of a couple.
Phenomenal job by the defense that time, shutting down the option play. They knew they were going to see this in this game, and all week long in practice, they really focused on this assignment football, making sure the dive, the quarterback, the pitch, all taken away. Nowhere to go with the football that time. Offensively, the defense coming up with a huge negative play.
2nd and goal, no dice for this offense. If I'm on offense right now, I'm thinking about who are my mismatches? Who are my big bodies out wide that I can throw them the football and they can make a play over top of somebody?
They're going to throw it on 3rd and goal. Caught in the backfield. It's Hankerson. Touchdown, Oregon State! And they add 6 more to the board with that trip to the house. That'll give them a little more breathing room as they try to push this winning streak to 5.
And how about this squad, man? Looking good again. Like, I feel like we say this week in and week out, just continuing to remain undefeated, whatever it takes, offense, defense, special teams. They have been a good unit, and that's why their ranking is so high.
And the extra point splits the uprights, and the lead balloons to 15. And let's check in with Kevin Connors in the studio. Kevin?
Big one this week in the SEC. Heck, they're all big ones in that conference. Alabama looks like a legit title contender right now, which they kind of do every year, but man, this offense is rolling. They're up by 29 over Vanderbilt. Week in and week out in the SEC, it's a battle of attrition, and if anything big changes, you'll hear about it here.
Oh, and how about that? I know Kevin and those guys will be keeping an eye on it for us. He'll pull it on the read. He stopped dead in his tracks again. No running room to be found. They keep trying it and have had very little success.
Yeah, and a great job by the defense, holding the line of scrimmage, playing downhill, playing responsibility football, making sure they shut down that option.
Well, the good news is he did a nice job reading the coverage. He knew exactly where to go with the football that time. Just a little bit too much on that pass. You wonder if that's just nerves. He's got to settle himself down a little bit.
Oh, they're after him. He'll off one deep down the left side. Breaks into the open. Inside the touchdown, Liberty. He broke away from the defense, and they couldn't catch him.
Quarterback's abilities to read the field is huge, and also the anticipation, the timing. To be able to throw the football, Jesse, and hit a guy in stride so he can get run after the catch and get in the end zone, that was a nice job by the quarterback.
Yeah, it's critical, David. Listen, a lot of times touchdown passes aren't thrown into the end zone. You've got to read the coverage, hit the open guy, and let him do the rest.
And the PAT will draw them 1 point closer. Quick strike offense on that 3-play scoring drive. And they get it in with a huge play, an 80-yard touchdown pass. Here he comes from inside his own 5. Just never had a chance to shake loose, and he'll be brought down at the 24. Oregon State has it back, and here comes the Beaver offense. How about that blocking up front in that running game last time as they just walked it down for a touchdown, David?
And the big boys up front doing their job. Opening holes, the backs making plays, everything on the ground on that first drive worked.
And we know that this is the identity this coaching staff wants for this team, right? They want to be the most physical team on the field. Let's see if they can keep it up.
And this situation here on second down is the exact situation this offense wanted to stay out of. You got the lead late in the ball game. You want to get positive yards, keep that clock ticking. Now in a situation, it's interesting. Do they want to throw the football? How much do they trust their quarterback not to make a mistake here late in the football game with the lead?
This offense is not letting up, guys. They've got a lead here late, and they are still taking shots. They're still looking for explosive plays. This defense just has not had an answer here all game long.
And he's got enough for the first down. They'll mark it at the 34. The Beavers come to the line with a new set of downs. They'll try to keep this clock moving on the ground. Defense uses a timeout quickly, trying to get that ball back and preserve time for their offense.
This is an area of the game. On offense, you've got to be able to run the football well. You've got the lead in the fourth quarter, and obviously you're in your own end here, but you want to bleed the clock. You want to stay on the field and keep getting first down, so you have to be able to run.
And it is a good idea to gang tackle. First guy couldn't get him, second guy finally did.
Man, this offense would really like to lean on this guy in the fourth quarter, right? They've got the lead, and you just saw his ability there, breaking a tackle. He looks like he's getting stronger as the game goes on. I'd expect him to get a few more carries here before this game's over.
It's one thing to execute early in the game. Tight ball game, right at the end, you need the clutch plays. These guys deliver.
You can't teach that gene. You have people that can focus in the moment or they can't. Great job by the team, staying focused, understanding it's a close battle, win those one play at a time, and then look up and then, heck, I got the win.
Yeah, David, they just had ice in their veins, and you can tell there's tremendous leadership on this.
Welcome to the debate. Today we're diving into Oregon State's Week 6 victory over Liberty, 28-20. And this final score presents a really classic statistical tension. So the question is, was this a controlled, methodical win that shows Coach Ward's system is working? Or, did the wild finish expose some deep, unresolved defensive vulnerabilities? I'm going to argue that the overall stats really do validate a patient, successful execution of the system.
And I'll be taking the other side here. I think that the extreme volatility of that final quarter really hides some critical defensive flaws that were almost catastrophic. It suggests the system is, frankly, just too fragile to rely on in a close game.
Well, if you look at the full body of work, Oregon State demonstrated almost textbook control. The offense ran exactly the patient, grinded-out game plan that the system demands. Anthony Hankerson was just dominant. 131 yards on 18 carries. That's a 7.2 yards per attempt average. They were dictating the physical terms of the game. And then Malik Murphy was efficient, completing 76% of his passes. And crucially, the defense was locked down in the first half. They held Liberty to just 3 points and only 64 total yards. They controlled the clock for 11 minutes in that first half alone. That isn't fragility. That's methodical execution.
Yeah, but I'm sorry. I just can't buy that the methodology outweighs what was a near disaster. That 8-point margin is deeply misleading because the defensive structure completely, and I mean completely, fell apart in the fourth quarter. Despite all that early control you mentioned, Liberty got 143 yards on just 2 plays. 2. The 63-yard pass to Mobley and then the 80-yarder to Smith. Liberty's quarterback, Ethan Vasco, ended the day with a staggering 300.6 rating and 19.6 yards per attempt. When your 4-2-5 defense, a scheme designed to prevent big plays, gives up 2 passes over 60 yards late in the game, it signals a fundamental instability.
Okay, that's a compelling point about the defensive volatility. But we have to look at the response. The response is the true indicator of a resilient, systematic team. When Liberty scored that 63-yard touchdown to make it a one-score game, the pressure was immense. So how did Oregon State react? They didn't panic. Hankerson immediately broke off a 31-yard run, anchoring this focused clock-killing drive that ended with his 10-yard receiving touchdown. The offense proved it could deliver points and bleed the clock precisely to neutralize those rapid scoring threats. That capability is systematic superiority. The system worked to contain the risk.
I see why you emphasize that offensive resilience, but you're framing the offense as a solution to a critical defense problem. The extreme risk is still there. Relying on your offense to be perfect every time the defense gives up a track meet touchdown is just not a sustainable model. That defense proved it can't stop a vertical attack when it matters most. That 80-yard score was a gut punch that, for me, fundamentally changes the analysis. That kind of play just shouldn't happen. And, what's more, the quarterback metrics really reinforce this imbalance in the system. Murphy was efficient, yes, completing a high percentage, but his 7.8 yards per attempt suggests a very cautious short to intermediate game. It completely avoids the vertical threats that Vasco just feasted on with his 19.6 YPA. Oregon State's system, it seems, relies entirely on these long, methodical drives, which is a really high-risk choice when your defense can give up a touchdown that erases 7 minutes of your work in about 30 seconds.
I would frame that caution a little differently. I think you're overlooking Murphy's critical in-game adjustment, which to me proves the difficult system concepts are in fact sinking in. He threw an interception on just his second pass, a clear sign of, some early discomfort. But he adapted almost immediately, and he drove the field for 2 touchdowns in the second quarter. That wasn't just luck, that was him internalizing the complex passing reads, line adjustments, and audibles that Coach Ward is installing. So that efficiency isn't caution, it's deliberate. It ensures ball security and time of possession, which is a strategic pillar you need when your defense might occasionally trade a big play for consistency elsewhere. So ultimately, the statistical breadth of the victory, the rushing dominance, the high completion rate, the time of possession control, It all confirms that Coach Ward's patient approach is working. They won the game methodically, and that stability, in my view, covers for the sporadic lapses.
And I would maintain that those catastrophic lapses in the fourth quarter highlight critical and, so far, unresolved defensive failures. Until those explosive plays are gone, the system is just too fragile to rely on against tougher opponents who can really exploit that vertical space.
Well, it's clear that the final score of Oregon State 28, Liberty 20 leaves us with quite a bit of ambiguity about the team's true level of control and where they are in their development.
Absolutely. There's still a lot to explore in figuring out what kind of team Oregon State really is after a result this complex.
And that's a wrap on this edition of State of the Beavers. Thanks for spending some time in the lodge with us today. If you enjoyed the show, make sure to subscribe on your favorite platform and leave us a review. It really helps the colony grow. Big thanks to our production team and, most importantly, to you for listening. Keep building, keep grinding, and we'll catch you on the next one. Until next time, this has been the State of the Beavers. Stay sharp out there.